Hello and welcome to my Lunatic Conquest low turn count playthrough. My name is Gwimpage, and while I typically speedrun Fire Emblem 9 and 10, today I'm here with an entirely different type of project. I'd like to thank my friend and fellow redditor BlueSS1 for joining me and assisting with commentary for this playthrough. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Hey, so as Gwym said, I go on the subreddit. I enjoy Conquest quite a bit. I've even played this game on 0% growths for what it's worth. And yeah, it's about all I have to say.
Alright then, I've been meaning to record this playthrough for a while, and I'm excited to finally get it started. For those unfamiliar with LTC playthroughs, the goal of this run is to complete the game in the least amount of turns possible. Generally speaking, I'll need to maximize experience and supports on some important characters in a very short amount of time. If a unit doesn't save turns or improve reliability of a strategy, then chances are I won't be investing in them for the long term. Now for this run, I won't be using any DLC, and I've restricted myself from using specific My Castle features such as skill buying, using the path bonuses for extra boots, and purchasing logbook characters. I've decided on allowing myself to use some stat boosters provided through My Castle, however, they're mainly going to be used to fix bad level ups for any potential bad RN seeds. And I'll be sure to let you know if I did indeed use a stat booster. Another thing about this playthrough is that I'm allowing myself to visit castles, and to save time I simply edited in 99 resources and max Dragon Bane points through power saves. This is entirely only to save time on my end, since with enough real time it's possible to have infinite resources anyways. Again, this only influences buildings such as the forge, the mess hall, and the prison. I'll refrain from resetting for favorable hit rates and dodges, but if I can land a sketchy hit rate or land a killer weapon crit to save a turn, I'll take it. I'm also an impatient person when it comes to resetting, so you won't see me going for any super low strategies. I don't mind losing turns over another playthrough that rigs better RNG, and I'm fine with showcasing strategies that I came up with on my own, and I'd be happy to simply match my turn counts from a previous run I've done this past summer. Finally, any paralogs visited will count towards my final turn count. There's a lot going on in this short video, and hopefully I didn't fry your brain with anything. So with that, we're just gonna get right into the playthrough. Now, like in most recent Fire Emblem entries, Fates continues the trend and also has a customizable avatar character where the player has control of their appearance, name, secondary class, and both their strongest and weakest stat. For this run, I'm using a female plus magic boon and minus luck bane with a wyvern rider secondary class. Magic is Corrin's best combat option for later on in the run, and minus luck has least impact. Dragon's one of the best, if not best class option for Corrin, and we'll see that much later on in the playthrough.
Alright, so now we're getting into the prologue, which so we're actually starting out. So the prologue, there's not much to really say about it. It's always 2 turns, and basically you're always doing the same actions every time the game tells you to do. Story-wise, it's foreshadowing how Corrin eventually has to choose between siding with Hoshidor or Nor. This is a Conquest LTC, obviously. Gwyn's going to be siding with Nor, even despite the fact that Nor is displayed as the enemy here, while Hoshidor is displayed as the ally. Of course, there's just really not much to say here.
Yeah, I want to kind of point out about this fast cursoring as well. If it is a bit, if it's too fast and too hard to follow along, I have no problem with slowing down the cursor and fast text skipping because it is understandable that it might be hard to follow along. I do have a bit of chapters already recorded, so with some feedback, I'll be fine with slowing down. Okay, moving on to chapter 1. So this is another tutorial battle, but this is also the first map where we're forfeiting a turn.
Yeah, basically, if you don't take an HP or defense boon, then you can't. Then Corrin can't survive 2 rounds of his combat with Xander, so she'll need to go to the healing spot, which costs a turn. Which is why this map ends up being done in 5 turns instead of 4.
Yeah, it's just better in general, better in long term for Corrin to take a plus magic or any other boon really. We just chose magic because it's also Corrin's like strongest form of combat later on.
And yeah, that's chapter 1 completed in 5 turns. Moving on to chapter 2 now. So in this map we get 2 new units, Gunter and Jacob. Gunter is the Dragon character of this game, and at this point of the game he's pretty easily our strongest unit. Jacob is the other unit we get. At this point he's more of a support unit, but he's going to become a pretty essential combat unit later on. Jacob is actually the reason that female Corn was chosen for this playthrough. If you pick male Corn instead, you instead get a maid named Felicia at this point of the game, and Felicia is just not as good at combat as Jacob is due to her inferior reclass option and stat spread. This map also introduces the tag team mechanic, in which if a unit attacks, then the unit adjacent to them will do a follow-up attack like Gunter and Jacob did just there. The adjacent unit's attack does half damage, so there's that.
I also want to point out that the enemies on turn 2 enemy phase, their positioning had to be kind of in a way where Kaze would die on this player phase, because if any of these 1 to 2 range units were left alive, they would simply attack at 2 range and I wouldn't be able to kill them all on turn 3 enemy phase. Since it's a route, it was pretty essential for the 3 turn, and with that, that's chapter 2 in 3 turns. Alright, so here's chapter 3. This is the first map where the game introduces the parrot mechanic, where 2 units kind of combine into one entity, where a higher movement unit can even carry like a low movement unit. So we're going to kind of use this at the start, carry Jacob a bit further than he normally would have been able to move, and we're going to tag team off of these dudes.
It's worth noting that Jacob's personal skill reduces the damage Corrin takes by 3, it increases her avoid by 15. Gunter has a similar personal skill, but for boosting offense and hits instead of defense and avoid.
Yep, so we're going to pair up and kind of set up for the next enemy phase, where we're going to use the Dragon Bane and kind of move forward onto the bridge and take on this like enemy formation. So Jacob actually has a strength and defense level up from last map, and we're going to take advantage of this, and he's going to survive this enemy phase. It's important that he gained a point of strength so he could kill the samurai in an enemy phase, and a defense level up allows him to survive at 1 HP, even though he got a dodge there. So we're going to use Gunter's personal and attack the boss. In a moment, anyways.
Yeah, this boss is pretty notoriously dodgy, so it's worth noting that Gunter's plus 15 hit here is very useful. Another thing about pair up that we didn't mention earlier was that it can block enemy tag teams and will occasionally block attacks from like primary enemies as well when that shield gauge completely fills up after 5 attacks.
Yep, so after that boss kill, very like close boss kill, Jacob's gonna seize, which is kind of a new feature to Fates. Anybody can seize in this game. And that concludes the first video of more to come. Hopefully we didn't overload your mind too much, since there was a lot going on and much to explain about the playthrough. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you for when we take on the rest of the route split.